There it is. Ian Stewart, Mike Cairns, Glenn Grant, Steve Ovett, Jim McGuinness, Adrian Weatherhead. They're all the British athletes. And then we've got Ari Paunonen, John Walker, Wilson Waigua, and that's Kipsonbai, Koskai, Graham Crouch, and Ken Hall of Australia. A rather large field, 12 runners. And the Crystal Palace ground record stands at 3:53.6, and that stands to John Walker, set here in 1975. The form that Steve Ovett's been showing wearing number 5 is enough to whet the appetite of all British athletic fans. He has a sneaking suspicion that he's got the legs of Walker if they're together off the final bend. And Walker will know that and know that he's got to run some of that sprinting speed out of Ovett. But neither can dawdle with Waigua of Kenya, now at the University of New Mexico. He wears number 2, Wilson Waigua. There he is. A very casual and cool man. Off they go, the 12 runners in the 1 mile. And it's Koskai of Kenya that sets off. And Waigua takes up his place at the back of this field, whatever pace they set off at. I think that's Mike Cairns, number 7, in second place. The Tipton Harrier, who's at Birmingham University, and that looks like Glenn Grant. Glenn Grant setting off. There's going to be no dawdling in this, and the first to recognise it is Paunonen of Finland. Glenn Grant followed by Mike Cairns, the Intercounties mile champion who's got better and better all this season. Glenn Grant, Cambridge and the Army, ran 3:59.2 last year, but that won't be good enough today. But he's a courageous front runner. And Ovett has settled for third place with Ian Stewart on his shoulder in 4th, Adrian Weatherhead in 5th, and then John Walker with Graham Couch in 5th and 6th. So this race beginning to unwind, and that was a 58-second first 400 metres, all due to Glenn Grant. 440 yards, of course, over the mile. Glenn Grant leading Mike Cairns from Steve Ovett. Then Adrian Weatherhead is in 4th. Ian Stewart, also wearing the Tipton vest, is in 5th. And then John Walker casually passing Ian Stewart, brushing the shoulders of Adrian Weatherhead, going through and onto the shoulder of the man he must fear, Steve Ovett. Waigua still very much at the back. Ken Hall of Australia giving a bit of a run and trying to close on the leaders. Grant, Cairns, Ovett, Walker, and that wearing number 9 is Ken Hall of Australia. There he is, wearing moustaches. 1:59 for 880 yards. 2, 3 or 4 men in this field capable of running 55 or 56 second last laps. But still, Waigua is second from last, and Glenn Grant pulling Mike Cairns around in second. Ovett comfortable in third. Walker just as comfortable in 4th. Then Adrian Weatherhead with the Australian Ken Hall on his shoulder. Wearing 2, Wilson Waigua, still wide of the field, but beginning to move up. And Waigua just beginning to move from the back of the field in 8th place. Into the home straight for the 3rd time. The Finn there looking good. Ari Paunonen. Glenn Grant leading, wearing number 8. Mike Cairns is 7. Ovett's getting himself boxed up as Waigua, wearing number 2, closes up, and Graham Crouch has got them all, and there's a terrible box to get out of, and they're getting it sorted, and they just about got it sorted, and Ovett found himself some breathing space, brushed aside, and they've heard the bell, and Graham Crouch it is that's leading for home now. Walker back in 6th. He got himself tied up in that little knot, going past the Australian Ken Hall, beginning to open up, and Ovett's looked for him. He's gone. Ovett hasn't closed with him, but it's the Finn that's going, Paunonen, that's chasing him. Waigua's beginning to come, but Walker's got away. Ovett in 3rd. Ovett coming again. Ovett beginning to ease up, and the crowd beginning to sense it. Ovett really having a run, and so too is Waigua. The big 3 are at the front, and now it's a race for home. 70 yards. Waigua goes past the Finn. Ovett goes past Walker. Walker looks and recognises that he's dead. Wagar coming on Ovett's shoulder, but it's Ovett's day today, and Walker will be reduced to fourth place. Ovett first, Wagar second, Paunonen third, Walker is fourth, Mike Cairns is fifth. The arms aloft, the trademark of Steve Ovett as he claims a new United Kingdom national record. 3:54.8. And that will put him second in the world rankings this year, and he made it look so easy. Choosing his races with care. This applause is much deserved. Everything about the race he ran well. He looked as though he was boxed at the 3/4 mile mark, but then he brushed aside those that were closing in on him. He allowed Graham Crouch to go ahead. He watched everything that Walker did. He got off the challenge of Paunonen, and then coming down the home straight, he looked stronger and stronger as the race went on. Off the bend, Walker must have felt that his strength was good enough to tell. Paunonen has just been overtaken by Ovett wearing number 5. 21 years of age, recognised as an 800-metre runner, but the world will know that 1,500 metres will be his event. I think Walker sensed then that there was trouble. And Wagar it was that went past Paunonen, and Wagar with this blistering sprint finish. Walker recognises as well as Ovett. Ovett goes ahead. Wagar recognises that he's got Walker, but Ovett does no overtaking. Wagar really can sprint at the end, but so too can Ovett, and the watch tells us it's 3:54.7. Ovett acknowledging the crowd which has cheered him all the way round. And John Walker, tough competitor, a most welcome visitor to these shores. He's been a great competitor over here, loves a challenge. He'll go away and train and get it sorted. There's no way that they'll write this man off. One of those key events that